Hello, and welcome to another special episode of the Conversations with Coaches podcast. I'm your usual host, your usual lead, Kevin, and I am going solo today for another one of our lessons mini episodes. And this is another quote that lives on the whiteboard, which is certainly becoming a segment at this point of this already segmented sort of mini-sode series. Whenever somebody brings something to me, especially when they have it in the form of a quote, or when I say quote, it's a very well encapsulated, well stated, well phrased, well delivered idea, thought, representation that just sticks with me in a way that I find to be very valuable. And whenever I find one of those, whenever someone gives me one of those, I treat it like the gift that it is. And the really good ones, the ones that really stick to me, tend to end up on my whiteboard for a time, sometimes semi-permanently. There's stuff that's been up there for years. There's stuff that's been up there for months. There's a few things that have been up there for days. I try to, refresh the soil, try to rotate the crops every now and again. But there's one that's been up there for quite a while. Not just because I like the way that it sounds. It does sound good. It's a very well-spoken idea, but it also speaks very directly to something that I've found to be very, very prominent in my professional development, I think, over the last few years. And also as I look back over the course of my life. And it's something that I've spoken to before in this very mini series here on the podcast, from different perspectives or in slightly different ways. I'll just read the quote. It's one you've probably heard before. I cannot remember who it's attributed to, but I'm pretty sure the first place I heard it was in one of those long form interview podcasts with luminaries in various fields. I forget which one it was, but I know I came across it on a podcast first, and I don't know who got that quote from whom, but the quote is, "Process saves us from the poverty of our intentions." That's obviously a very, very well phrased, using words like process and poverty, the alliteration. It's the word, the poverty of our, that phrase, the poverty of our intentions. It has a very poetic ring to it, doesn't it? Kind of Shakespearean. Honestly, it may well be some Shakespearean quote, some derivative of a play that I've read and forgotten or something. I honestly don't know. It would be hilarious if that was the case, if I quoted Shakespeare at you in some modified way. Let's hope not, or let's hope so. Please make fun of me if that's the case. But I love this quote so much. I love this line. I love this idea. Process saves us from the poverty of our intentions. And it's really just another way of saying I think there's another quote too that I believe I've shared on the podcast before. It goes something like, we seldom rise to the level of our intentions or dreams. Rather, we usually fall to the level of our training. Which is, again, another way of saying process saves us from the poverty of our intentions. Basically, you can reach for the stars or beyond, crash and burn really hard. But what process does, and by process, I suppose it's pretty obvious what that means, but it kind of means your training, your systems, your habits, the aspects of yourself that you've built up over time, the rules that you adhere to consciously and unconsciously, your process of going about doing things. If there's a thing that needs to be done, rather than have to sort of reinvent your manner of doing it on the fly every single time you do it, you establish a routine of some kind, some process that you can lean on that can carry some of the weight, so that no matter what your day might be like, no matter what your circumstances might be like, no matter the context, no matter your intentions, great or small, that process can save you from maybe poorly articulated intention, poorly thought of intention, again, circumstances beyond your control. I really like how this gets at the importance of systems, which is, that's why I'm sharing this quote here on Conversations with Coaches. This is a huge element of what makes coaching so valuable. So I say valuable, necessary. I think we're getting to the point now where more and more people agree that it's really good. Good coaching is necessary if you really want to be successful in life, not just as a professional, but just personally, to be your best self. Process saves us from the poverty of our intentions. And I believe I've spoken with a number of coaches lately who have specifically hit at this sort of twin elements of really strong coaching, where every coach will bring you a system, will come with something that you can kind of lay the foundation with, a blueprint, a plan, a process. But really what that does, it allows the coach to be right there alongside you, guiding you, helping you to discover and hone your intentions, your mindset. Mindset's a big part of this too. So love this quote. Wanted to share it with you in that particular context because I find it to be a very concise way to express something that is foundational, that is intrinsic to good coaching. So again, one more time, process saves us from the poverty of our intentions. I just love the way it sounds too. It helps when there's just a linguistic pleasure to the way something is said. But we can talk about my love of language another time. I will talk to you again very soon.